Okay, so our lesson for today is all about the urinary system, or sometimes we call it as the excretory system. So let's start with the different functions of this system. First, it's excretion. So when we say excretion, it's the removal of organic waste products from body fluids. And then next, elimination. So meaning the discharge of waste products from our body. Then this system also regulates blood volume and blood pressure. In what way? By what? By adjusting the volume of water lost in urine, releasing now what we call the erythropoietin and the renin. It also regulates plasma concentrations of sodium, potassium chloride, and other ions. In what way? Of course, by controlling the quantities lost in urine and controlling calcium ion levels through the synthesis of calcitriol. And we all know that calcitriol controls the calcium level of in our body. It also helps in stabilizing the blood pH. So, by controlling the loss of hydrogen ions and, of course, bicarbonate ions in urine, then it helps in stabilizing the blood pH. Assisting the liver. Yes, in what way? The urinary system helps in detoxifying poisons and drugs. So these are the important functions of your urinary system. Okay, so let's start with the first structure under the system is we have your kidneys, which is the most somewhat like the most important part of this system. So these kidneys, they are located on either side of the vertebral column between the T12 and the L3. That's their location. So the kidneys, there are two kidneys. It's the left is slightly superior than the right. Okay, the left is slightly superior than the right. Why? Because the due to the larger size of the liver on the right side of the body. That's why hindi pantay talaga yung location ng ating position ng ating kidneys. Then each kidney is capped by an adrenal gland. So these are your kidneys. The position of kidneys are being maintained by what we call now the overlying peritoneum, then the contact with adjacent organs, and of course the supporting connective tissues. So each kidney is also being protected and stabilized by these three concentric layers of your connective tissue. So first, as you can see in the structure, we have the renal capsule. Okay, so this is the renal capsule. So these are layer of collagen fibers, and since it's being called as capsule because somewhat like this serves as a covering, or yeah, this serves as a covering, so it is in the outer surface of the entire region. So that's the renal capsule. And then we have the adipose capsule. So the adipose capsule is somewhat like it surrounds the renal capsule. Okay? So it cushions. So lahat ng mga fat layers dyan, yung mga taba-taba in our liver, they are what we call now the adipose capsule. So it cushions the inner layer, or the inner parts of our kidneys. Then we also have here the renal fascia. The renal fascia is somewhat like dense. They are dense, and then they are fibrous outer layer. It has fibrous outer layer. So this is the renal fascia. Then the one that anchors the kidney to surrounding structures. So the renal fascia, uh, it helps in anchoring the surrounding structures to the kidney. Then what are the layers of your kidney? We have the renal cortex. Okay, the first one is the renal cortex. The renal cortex, these are the superficial portion of the kidney. Yan. It is in contact with our renal capsule and somewhat like they are reddish brown and granular. The renal medulla, okay, and this part, renal medulla, it consists of 6 to 18 distinct conical or triangular structures called the renal pyramids. So somewhat like these are what we call the renal pyramids. Yan. Then the renal lobe, these are the renal lobe, which now consists of the renal pyramid. So dito, the function, this is somewhat like one of the most important function, is to the urine production, which begins in tubular structures called urinephrons. So the renal lobe contains the what we call now urinephrons. So nephrons, somewhat like they are the basic structure of kidney, and we have 1.25 million nephrons, and somewhat like the length is about approximately 145 kilometers. So the blood supply of the kidneys. Your kidneys actually receive 20 to 25% of your total cardiac output. I repeat, your kidneys receive 20 to 25% of your total cardiac output. So in normal, healthy individuals, about 1,200 ml of blood flows through the kidneys each minute. So this is now the blood supply, the flow of blood supply in our kidneys. Of course, it starts in uh, the renal artery. Okay, it starts in the renal artery, then going to the segmental arteries, entering what we call now the interlobal arteries, and then interlobal arteries, then going to the accurate arteries, yung mas maliliit na naman, arcuate arteries, and then going to your interlobular arteries again, then afferent arterioles, and then to your nephrons. And then leaving from your nephrons, going to the venules, okay, entering now the interlobular veins, going to your arcuate veins, to your interlobar veins, and then going out to this renal vein. So that's the flow of blood supply in the kidneys. Okay, I repeat. So we have from the renal artery, going to the segmental arteries, interlobular arteries, then arcuate arteries, interlobular arteries again, then going to the afferent arterioles, then entering now the nephrons. It leaves the nephrons via the venules, going to your interlobular veins, arcuate veins, interlobular veins, and then to your renal vein. So that's the blood supply, the blood flow of the in the kidneys. So these are the divisions of the nephron. So we have here the renal corpuscles. The renal corpuscles, it is where the process of what we call now filtration occurs. So in this part, uh, the renal corpuscles, in that process of filtration, it includes the Bowman's capsule and of course the capillary network called glomerulus. So this is the Bowman's capsule. So it composed of three. So we have the parietal epithelium, then the visceral epithelium, then the capsular space. So the parietal epithelium is composed of it is the outer layer of the capsule. Okay, the parietal epithelium is the outer layer. Epithelium is the outer layer of the capsule. Then the one that covers now the glomerular capillaries. Ito, yung red part, okay, inside the Bowman's capsule. This is what we call the visceral epithelium. And then the capsular are the ones that separates now the parietal. Ito, the one that separates the parietal and the visceral layers of the Bowman's capsule. So, another division is the renal tubule. Renal tubules, these are long tubular passageway that may be 50 millimeters in length. So that's the renal tubule. So what are the functions of the renal tubule? First, we have the reabsorbing all the useful organic substrates that enter the filtrate. Okay, so another is the reabsorbing over 90% of the water present in the filtrate. So it reabsorbs. So we have here the okay. So in the renal tubules, it has composed of two convoluted convoluted segments. So first, we have what we call now the proximal, then the distal. Pag sinabi mo kasing convoluted, okay, it means coiled or twisted. And these are the two segments of the tubules. Separated by, which is being separated by a simple U shape, that is what we call now this is the U shape. It is being separated by what we call now the loop of Henle. So, ito yung proximal. This is the proximal convoluted tubule, and then this is the distal convoluted tubule. So, these two beads being separated by what we call now the loop of Henle. So, in the proximal convoluted tubule, so yan. This is actually, ito, after the Bowman's capsule, this is actually the first segment of the renal tubule, the proximal. And it is being lined with a simple cuboidal epithelium with what we call now the microvilli. So the function of this is to absorb organic nutrients, ions, and even water and plasma proteins. So that's the proximal convoluted tubule. Next, going to the loop of Henle, okay, which is the U shape, which is sometimes we call it as the nephron loop. So there are again two divisions of this. We have what we call now the descending limb, okay, ito, the descending limb, and going up, this is what we call now the ascending limb. Yan. So, in this descending limb, loop of Henle, meron tayo dito, it has a thick limb. While in that ascending, it has composed of it is just only a thin limb for the loop of Henle. So, in that descending limb, okay, fluid travels toward the renal tubule. So the function of this is to receive isotonic fluid from the PCT. Yan. Okay. So the PCT is the proximal convoluted tubule, or the PCT. The reabsorption is their primary function. Okay, so again, PCT, or the proximal convoluted tubules, their primary function is reabsorption. So it receives isotonic fluid from the PCT. So in that isotonic, okay, the ions are reabsorbed by the gradient line system. So water is also reabsorbed, maintaining now the what we call now the osmolarity of the fluid. Okay, so as I have said, it is this structure is thick, and in that ascending limb, ito, since thin ascending limb lang siya, so water moves out of the tubule due to what we call now the osmotic pressure. Kaya importante dito yung tinatawag nating osmotic pressure. Yan, in that ascending limb. So, this is the physiology of the descending limb. Ions, somewhat like the permeability is low, because sodium and chloride ions do not easily pass through into that descending limb. And water in that descending limb is highly permeable, so water is readily absorbed from the descending limb by the osmotic pressure. In that ascending limb naman, it is somewhat like, since it's thin, okay, it is somewhat like considered to be as impermeable to water. But it is permeable to some ions that cross by what we call now the diffusion process. So pag sinabi mo kasing diffusion, it's the movement of molecules from higher to lower concentration. So, yun. Thick ascending limb, okay, it is impermeable to water. But meron tayong mga reabsorption process that takes place there, like sodium, potassium, and chloride, with the help of what we call now the active transport. Pag sinabi nating active transport, of course, we need an energy here, because the movement of molecules here is from lower to higher concentration. Next is the distal convoluted tubule. So this is now actually the third segment of the renal tubule. Okay, we have the first is the proximal, then going to the loop of Henle, which is composed of the descending and the ascending limb, and then the third is what we call now the distal tubule. So this is the third segment, the distal convoluted tubule. What are the functions of this? Just only now selective reabsorption. Unlike in the PCT, or the proximal convoluted tubule, their primary function is reabsorption. But in that DCT now, it's just only, it does not all absorb, but it select molecules to be absorbed, somewhat like sodium ions and calcium ions. And aside from those, there is also selective reabsorption of water, which just only, why? Because they just need this water just assists in concentrating the tubular fluid. So selective reabsorption na lang yung nangyayari sa kanya. And then the last segment of the nephron is what we call now the collecting duct. This is the collecting system. Ito na. So, dito, it participates in electrolyte and fluid balance through the process of what we call reabsorption and excretion. Processes are being regulated here by hormones like your aldosterone and your vasopressin. So, these two hormones are antidiuretic hormones. So, yeah, these are antidiuretic hormones. What is the goal of urine production? So, what's the goal? Of course, we have the first one is, okay, to maintain, yan, the first principle, the first one goal is to, of course, maintain homeostasis by regulating the volume and composition of blood. And then, so this process involves the excretion of solutes, specifically the what we call now the metabolic waste products. Okay, so I repeat that what's the goal of urine production? Of course, to maintain homeostasis by regulating the volume and composition of blood. So we have the three principles of this renal physiology. So the first principle is what we call now the urea. So this is the most abundant organic waste. Okay, most abundant organic waste. You generate roughly 20 grams of urea each day. It is being produced during what? Kailan napoproduce ang urea? During the breakdown of what we call now your amino acids. Kaya nagkakaroon ng mga, yung urea, napakadelikado to. If it's too much protein, okay, if it's too much protein sa katawan natin, then nagkakaroon tayo ng mga arthritis. Kaya kailangan natin ng urine test to monitor the urea level in our body. The second is what we call now the creatinine. So the creatinine is being generated in the skeletal muscles, of course, by the breakdown of what we call now the creatinine phosphate. So what's the role of this? The creatinine phosphate. The important role is what? It has an important role in what we call now your muscle contraction. So you generate roughly 1.8 grams each day and excreted in the urine. So pag mataas yung creatinine natin, magkakaroon ng what? Impaired kidney function. Ibig sabihin, there is an impaired kidney functions natin. Okay? So yun. And then the last one is the uric acid. So this is being formed, your uric acid is being formed by the recycling of what we call now the nitrogenous bases from RNA molecules. So you generate 480 milligram of uric acid each day. So uric acid actually is a waste product during the normal breakdown of purines. Okay? So, yan. It is being during the normal breakdown of protein. Saan natin usually nakukuha itong mga to? Sa mga atay, kinakain natin mga atay, mga anchovies, ano pa, mga dried beans. Okay, mga dried beans. Kaya ipinagbabawal talaga yung dried beans, like yung mga balatong, mga ganon. Kaya ipinagbabawal ito sa mga may gouty arthritis, yung mga balatong, kasi mataas ang uric acid nila. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung mga gouty arthritis, nagkakaroon ng tawag dito, ano yung mga masasakit sa kanila, yung mga joints dito. Okay? So, nagkakaroon ng crystals. Okay, there are accumulated crystals in their joints. Kaya masakit yung kanilang mga buto-buto if you have gouty arthritis. So these are the principles of your renal physiology. Nephrons are actually clean the blood in a three-step process. Of course, first one is the filtration of the blood. So filtration. So, dito nangyayari yung filtration process natin. So, it filters what? Water. Dito dumadaan muna yung mga water, electrolytes, amino acids, glucose, urea, and other small molecules diffuse out of the blood, creating the filtrate. Okay, sinasagat. Kaya very important ang ating kidney because before it circulates to all parts of our body, kailangan na filter muna siya. Okay, so when you say glomerulus, these are network of capillaries. Ito, mga nakikita ninyo, these are the glomerulus. And then the one that encases the glomerulus, this is the Bowman's capsule. Ito, yung yellow part niya. This is the Bowman's capsule. So the body's entire volume of blood is being filtered every 45 minutes. Okay, so every 45 minutes. So, yan, this is the first step. Ito yung first step. And then the next one, the second step is now what we call the reabsorption of materials. So, una, saan nare-reabsorb? The primary function is, ang primary function dito ay the PCT. Okay, yung PCT, the proximal convoluted tubule, yun yung function niya. So, yan. So, as the filtrate enters the rest of the tubule, most of the materials are reabsorbed into the blood. So, materials not reabsorbed make up the urine which flows into the loop of Henle. So, the reabsorption, it occurs after filtrate has left the renal corpuscle. So, most of the reabsorbed materials are nutrients that your body can use. And then, yung mga hindi na reabsorb, then it will somewhat like contribute in the formation of the urine, which now flows into the loop of Henle. So after that, the third one is the excretion of materials. So in the loop of Henle, water can be reabsorbed one final time to reduce the volume of urine. Kaya medyo mas maliit na yung tubig na iniihi natin. The remaining urine flows into the collecting duct that leads now to the ureter. So, hindi yung mga hindi na absorb na mga materials, they go now to the collecting duct to be excreted to the ureter. So, this is now the overview of renal function. Okay, filtration. It occurs exclusively in the renal corpuscles. The renal corpuscles across the filtration membrane. Then reabsorption, which now occurs in the convoluted tubules and also in the renal tubules and the collecting system. Actually, in that collecting system, may mga final reabsorption takes place still in that collecting system. Active secretion occurs primarily at the proximal and the distal convoluted tubules. Dito, yung active secretions, yung mga secretions na yan ay yung mga tinatawag nating mga hydrogen ions, mga ammonia ions, creatinine, and potassium. And then loops of Henle and the collecting system regulate now the final volume and solute concentration of the urine. So, yan. So, that's the overview of the renal system. Then, why do I need to include the ureter? The next is now the ureters. Okay, so after the kidney, we now go to the passageway of the urine, okay, which is now what we call the ureter, which is 30 centimeters long. So, these ureteral openings that are slit-like rather than rounded. The shape helps. Bakit ganun? Because the shape helps now to prevent, okay, the backflow of urine towards the ureter and kidneys. So once na bumaba na yung once now the urine are being excreted in the kidneys, going to your ureters, hindi na pwedeng bumalik sa kidneys. Yan. Then, going to the urinary bladder. The bladder is a hollow muscular organ, which is just only somewhat like a temporary reservoir for the storage of urine. Okay? So, pag the bladder, it has rugae. Yung rugae is somewhat like folds, okay? So, it disappears, the folds or the rugae, it disappears as the bladder fills. Kumbaga, this rugae, it helps the bladder to expand, okay? Para mas marami siyang makuha or mas marami siyang makontain na ihi. So, nag-expand yung ating urinary bladder with the help of the rugae. Pero bumabalik, nawawala yung rugae. Okay. pero nawawala yung reggae pag nag-e-expand ang ating, hindi nakikita pag na-expand yung bladder. Kaya nga, kahit naihing-ihi ka na, you can still manage to stop the flow of urine kasi nga, the bladder holds the urine temporarily. Pero pag punong-puno na siya, that's the time na hindi mo na kaya siyang i-hold. So, you need to let it go. Let it go. Yan. So, that's the urinary bladder. Going down to the urethra. Urethra of males and females different in length and in function. Okay, so for males, okay, it extends from the neck of their urinary bladder going to the tip of the penis. Kaya, mas mahaba ang urethra ng mga lalaki. So, somewhat like, it's 18 to 20 centimeters. And the function for the urethra for males, it's for the flow, okay, the pathway or the flow, or it helps in the flow, the pathway for what? For urine and, of course, for the sperm cells also. And then, females naman, it's very short, okay? So, it's just only 3 to 5 centimeters. Okay, 3 to 5 centimeters. Kasi, just only naman daanan lang siya ng hindi. Okay, so, that's the function of the urethra. So, going to the disorders of the excretory system. Okay, eto, pinakamalala, or hindi naman pinakamalala, it's very common, okay, very common disorder for the excretory system is the urinary tract infection, the UTI. So, it's very common. Yung somewhat like the urinary system is being infected. Pag ang infected sa atin ay ang ating urinary bladder, ang tawag sa kanya ay cystitis. But if urethra naman yung infected, ang tawag sa kanya ay urethritis. So, it depends upon the inflammation or the infection. Symptoms include, of course, painful urination or burning sensation. So, napakasakit ito. Pag umihi ka, you feel the pain pag umihi ka. Frequent urination. Okay, frequent urination, parang you always feel the urge to urinate. Kahit wala namang tubig na lumalabas. Okay, kahit walang ihi na lumalabas. Okay, so you still feel the urge to urinate. And kung may ihi man, the color is so different. It's bloody or brown urine. Ibig sabihin, nagturugo na sa loob, kaya nagkakaroon ng brown urine, or there's a combination of blood and urine. Kaya bloody or brown urine na yung ihi ninyo. Pag hindi ito naagapan, it is somewhat like can lead to chills. Kasi ibig sabihin, chills, fever, nausea, vomiting, and upper abdomen tenderness. Ibig sabihin, there is somewhat like really the presence of infection. Pag naramdaman nyo to, there is somewhat like really infection in your kidneys. Ang pinaka grabe dito is pag may chills. Okay, that's the UTI. If left untreated, huwag nating kayaan lumala ang UTI, because if left untreated, all UTIs can lead to permanent kidney damage and even possible kidney failure. It may damage all the parts of the whole kidneys. Okay? So, kailangan, kahit urethra lang siya, kahit bladder lang siya, you have to take antibiotics, which is being prescribed by the doctors. The general treatment yon is by antibiotics. A person needs to maintain good personal hygiene when eliminating waste, liquid and solid forms from the body. Okay, so also a person should drink lots of water. Eto, kaya nga, kailangan dito is somewhat like lagi tayong umiinom ng tubig to somewhat like clean or to help in eliminating waste. Yan. And maintain good personal hygiene, especially somewhat like sa mga adults, yung mga safe sex, mga ganyan, kailangan, because this may lead in, pag hindi, it may lead to mga UTI, mga ganyan, mga infections. Next, we have the kidney stones. Yeah, of course, alam nyo to, stones, crystal formation. Okay? Crystals form from minerals in urine. So, saan? Pwedeng, o lahat. Saan yung location ng kidneys? It depends. Pwede sa kidney, pwede sa ureter, and even the bladder. So, hindi siya namimili kung saan siya nag-accumulate, doon siya sa part ng ating urinary system. So, 80% of the uh, of those are males. Yan. 80%. Mostly mga lalaki nagkakaroon ng mga kidney stones because of their what? Their lifestyle. Nandyan yung mga yung yung alcohol, what else? Andyan yung mga yung yosi nakukuha nila kasi doon aside kasi ang lagi nating alam is yung naapgad lang. Okay, it's one factor to, pero mostly nakukuha kasi ito sa mga alcohol, sa mga sigarilyo, mga ganyan. Okay, so most common crystals are the calcium oxalates on the uric acid. Okay, so eto, kaya very painful ito, very painful. So, kailangan matanggal yung mga stones na to para there is a good flow of the urine in your urinary system. Maganda yung excretion ng ating system. So, yun. Symptoms include severe back or abdomen pain. Kaya nga ito, okay, kaya ito, ang unang tinatanong ay, ang likod. Pag masakit yung likod, somewhat like it's a suspect of kidney problems, even blood in the urine, and even nausea and vomiting. So, for diagnosis, of course, andyan yung x-ray kasi nakikita dito yung accumulation of crystals in the different parts of in your kidneys. Treatments may vary from letting the stones pass through the urinary tract to ultrasound shock or lithotripsy to disintegrate the stones to a small size that can be passed through the urinary tract. So, yung mga maliliit na crystal formations lang or stones, nakukuha yan sa gamot. Pwede pa siyang tunawin. Okay? By having medication. Pero yung mga real large stones na, it requires now surgery for removal pag hindi na to kaya ng mga gamot lang. So, these are the different types of kidney stones. Kaya tignan ninyo ha. Meron ng agony, pain, and even the misery. Okay. Ito ng mga different, kumbaga, ito yung aking imagine, may mga stones talaga, parang literal na may stones kayo in your urinary system. So, what are ways to avoid the kidney stones? Liquid intake, okay, more than 2 liters a day. Itong dapat more than 2 liters a day. Usually nga, sinasabi nila 8 liters a day. Pero, increase nyo pa siya yung liquid intake niyo ng, aside from 8 lang, increase nyo pa siya ng 2. Then, sodium intake natin, you limit it yung maapkat. Proteins, okay? Proteins. And then, even foods that are high in calcium oxalate, like yung spinach, mataas yung calcium niya dyan, calcium content niya. Strawberries, nuts, dark chocolate, and fruit tea. So, medyo kailangan natin i-limit yung mga to. So, that ends our discussion. So, I hope you learned something. And I will be posting activities in our Google Classroom for you to answer. Thank you for listening.